Me and my girlfriend seem to have different preferences when it comes to men's fragrances. She enjoys the fresh and summery scents a lot, and me personally, I do like the sweet and masculine fragrances the most. And we finally found one fragrance that combines all those things and that we both can enjoy. Find out about that next here on Nordic Fragrance. Hi, I'm Tommy and you are watching Nordic Fragrance. Welcome. Let me please introduce the first ever fragrance release from Nintendo. This is the Mario Kart Silver Pocal fragrance. Just kidding. This is Paco Rabanne's Invictus, released back in 2013 and a successor to the ever so popular 1 million that was released in 2009. But you do have to admit, this bottle looks a little like something that you can win in Mario Kart, like a little trophy. And this bottle is sold in the sizes 50, 100 and 150 ml. Since it was first released back in 2013, it have been reformulated and lost a little performance, but it still performs okay. More about that later in the ratings. First, let's start with the presentation of the bottle. Well, as I mentioned before, this bottle is kind of cute looking and a little special and unique. It looks like a Mario Kart trophy that you win. And it's surely a memorable bottle. The sprayer is okay. Not especially good, not top notch, but it does its job okay. It's a good sprayer. Personally, I do enjoy this bottle a lot. I think it's very cute and it brings a smile to my face every time I happen to see it in my fragrance collection. So how does Invictus from Paco Rabanne smell? It's a pretty fresh scent actually. It contains a lot of sea notes, tangerine, but it also contains a heavy dose of amber notes, which makes it a very sweet fragrance. There is no one single note that really stands out in this. It's a good mix of a little bit of everything really. And it's really well blended and it smells really pleasant. Now let's move on to the rating of Invictus by Paco Rabanne. So what's my opinion about Invictus from Paco Rabanne? Before I bought this fragrance, I have heard some things about it. People said that it would smell a little bubblegummy and sweet. And I was pleasantly surprised when I first smelled this fragrance myself. My first reaction was, wow, this is far more masculine and manly than I expected from such a sweet fragrance. And I still think that today, every time I spray this fragrance on, I am amazed about how manly it comes across as, despite its sweetness. And by now you surely know that I am a sucker for those masculine sweet fragrances, so I do really enjoy and love Paco Rabanne's Invictus a lot. And this is a fragrance that has a little bit of everything. It's clearly a very fresh fragrance, and it's clearly a very sweet fragrance and clearly a very masculine fragrance. Paco Rabanne have done a very good job mixing all of those elements together to create a very unique smelling and pleasantly smelling fragrance that is Invictus. Personally, I do like this even more than its predecessor 1 million because it's way fresher and more versatile. So I do enjoy Invictus from Paco Rabanne a lot and I give it a strong rating of 9. Next, let's move on to my girlfriend's rating. This was the very first fragrance that I owned that she really fell in love with. She said from the get-go that this is an excellent fragrance. And she really loves it and she compliments me every time I wear this fragrance. Now bear in mind, when she is rating the fragrances, she doesn't know which fragrance it is. She blind smells them and just rate them according to the smell. And she said about Invictus when she smelled it and should rate it today that it was a 9, a very strong 9. My fragrance collection have grown a lot since she first smelled this fragrance, but it still remains one of her very favorite fragrances, and she gave it a strong rating of 9. Next, let's move on to the strength rating of Invictus. Invictus have been reformulated since it was first released in 2013. It used to be a beast mode, almost beast mode anyway, fragrance back in the days. Nowadays, it has lost a little performance, but it's still a good performer. I get a solid 8 hours out of it with really nice projection for about 3 to 4 hours actually. So performance is no issue with this one. It's a really great performer still despite the reformulation, and I give it a strength rating of 8. Next up is versatility rating, and this is a surprisingly versatile fragrance. This is basically a kind of a fresh fragrance, so it shines the most during the warmer time of years, spring, summer and early autumn. But it's still sweet enough to pull off in late autumn and early spring, and actually even in winter. So I would really say that Invictus is an all-season fragrance. You can wear this fragrance casually, you can wear it on the night out on the club, because it's got great performance and sweetness to it. And you can of course use this for a date night as well, because women really seem to love this fragrance on a man. So Invictus by Paco Rabanne, great versatile fragrance, and I give it a good versatility rating of 8. Lastly, the price rating. Paco Rabanne Invictus isn't exactly cheap. It's about 65 euros or $84 for a 100 ml bottle of this fragrance. So it's not among the cheapest fragrances, but it's not among the most expensive designer fragrances either. It's somewhere in the middle. But considering what you get out of this fragrance, such a beautiful scent and long-lasting performance, I would say that this is worth the price. This is a fragrance that is correctly priced in my opinion. Such a great fragrance should cost a little money, and Invictus is definitely not overpriced. I give it a good price rating of 5. So would I recommend you watching this to buy Paco Rabanne's Invictus? Yes, I definitely would. This is a great versatile fragrance. It's surprisingly masculine, and it's very sweet and inviting and fresh at the same time. This is a great all-around fragrance, and I personally think that Invictus from Paco Rabanne is signature scent worthy. It's that good really. And you don't need to worry about the reformulation, it's still got great performance, so that's no issue with this one. If you have the money to spend on a great fragrance that is very versatile, I would strongly recommend you buying Invictus from Paco Rabanne. This was my review of Invictus from Paco Rabanne. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support me and don't miss any future videos, please click the subscribe button. Until we meet again, take care of yourselves.